Okay, so we're going to work on our TheraBand ones now. Got this tied off at the right height. You have to remember this. Now remember a few things. You can take your weight onto your back toe, which makes you more in a bit of a lunge position. This is good for all that cross-patterning we've been talking about, challenging the system a bit more. You can also do it on one leg, and you can also tie some movements in as well. So I'm not going to do all those things, but you will remember that from the class. Okay, so first we're going to start with our simple rowing, keeping in mind this is the shoulder blades doing the work first, but they're just gliding around your rib cage, giving a nice feeling of them being able to flow back and forth around the rib cage. Then I want you to do setting of your shoulder blades and bringing your arms back and forth. So this is getting the feeling of your shoulders working as pendulums, all within the socket, and your shoulder blade coming straight. So when we look at this, here's your shoulder blade, and that's the ball and socket. And you can see that the ball is bigger than the socket, and it's a rotator cuff's job to hold that in place and keep it in the center. This is a beautiful design because it allows you to do 360s, but all the cuff is sitting back in here. So you have to be able to have a nice strong shoulder blade and a strong shoulder. But the shoulder should do a nice rotation, and the shoulder blade should be able to maneuver to allow for those movements. Quick anatomy lesson. Okay, so we've done those guys, and then we're going to do some nice settings. So what I want you to keep in mind is you want to keep this nice and open. So we don't want to be translating forward and back. We want our shoulders to roll forward and back. Okay, so isolating shoulders. So first we're just going to set our shoulders nice and square, keeping our shoulder blades still. We're just going to do some gentle pulses. So this is quite hard work for the calf. You're really working it in its inner range. We'll do a number of those. Aiming, depending on where you are in your rehab, you just do it to the point of fatigue. So if you're way down, you may find this quite easy. If you just started, you may find 5 or 6 pulses enough. So you see I've done it this way and then this way. This is a much smaller range because the shoulders are rolled back. You should feel that right in the back of the shoulders. So both those positions. You can also do an alternating version, which is using different parts of that lovely rotator cuff, and you can come out a bit further if you're further down your rehab. This is quite high level, keeping in mind if you're within that first 3 months of surgery, we really want to be keeping it in those smaller ranges and not too much resistance. Okay, don't put so much resistance on that's pulling you off. Okay, then we've got those. Then we've got straight extension. Now here what I'm looking for is that as the arms are moving, the shoulders aren't losing their control. Okay, so nice and steady. The next version of that is to come down and bring in bigger range. So it's what we call a waiter's bow. So our back stays straight. We don't lose the position. So as we go forward, we don't concave our chest. We keep that nice and open. So as we come forward, we're really working both the shoulder blades and the capsule. Again, you can be a little bit trickier, come in this position and add things like having your leg go back, standing on one foot back, etc., taking your foot off the ground. Any of those variations we've worked through. In this position, we have also our simple rotations. Okay, this is very basic, a little bit boring. We also have, so I'll switch over, coming across your body. Again, we're looking to see that rotation of the shoulder joint. So when you're doing something like this, we don't want to see this. Okay, it's nice and steady. Okay, we're also going to do some adduction. You guys remember this one? So your arm comes out to the side. This is the forearm. We're just bringing it down towards the hip and then moving it off. Now remember, the release is as important as the contraction. So as the shoulder releases, you don't want to elevate. Okay, we're getting that supraspinatus
to control the head of the humerus. You'll see I'm doing this in a nice steady pace. Keep talking about allowing time for the tendons to adapt to the next movement. I'm doing this quite fast because I've realised YouTube won't upload anything more than about 10 minutes. Okay, so we've done those. We also can do, now this is getting pretty high level, type of rotations. So you wouldn't want to be doing this within 4 months of your surgery, but this is nice control stuff, and then we come right up. This is surprisingly, often find my patients find this quite comfortable. So if you have reached that level in the class, feel free to come up here. Remember that nice slow control. Okay, we don't want the band flicking your shoulders around. If it feels like you're struggling and your shoulders jumping around, it's too hard. Okay, so work on that. So we also have then our nice boxing type movements, and we can step and bring those back. So again, that nice cross. We're not throwing our arms. It's not a traditional boxing movement. It's a very much flexion deltoid. So again, focusing on that rotation, not losing control of everything on the way through. Okay, so we've got all those. So generally, again, find the resistance you feel comfortable with. Your way out here, it's quite a lot, and this type of thing is really nice for the shoulder, but pick your level. We can also, if you're further down the track, you can do some rotation that way, so horizontal flexion. If you've got an AC joint just be careful because this will irritate it. And again, stepping, controlling. You'll see that I'm not doing that. I'm really focusing on keeping my chest quite open. Okay, so there's some ideas for doing some band exercises. The other one we have been doing in class, I just remembered that, is our control. So hand on the belly button, we step away, take the band out, and in keeping that line with the belly button. Okay, keeping this open, keeping that line. Okay, so step, nice and controlled. And then do it the other way to work the opposite side of the shoulder. You can do it if you're strong with one arm, but just be aware that's a lot harder. Okay, so let's see if this will upload, and then we'll move on to the scapular exercises.